So during my sophomore year of college, I was living in a dorm that was on campus. It was one of those brick buildings with 3 floors and a basement and an attic. And our dorm rooms were on the 3rd floor. Now, the room that I had, it was room 808, and my roommate had a really weird habit of keeping his door open at night. Now, I am not the type of person to tell my roommate how to live his life, so I never said anything to him about it. But I did think it was kind of strange that he never closed his door. One night I woke up and I heard what sounded like screams in the middle of the night. Obviously, I was freaked out sitting in bed, not knowing what was out there. There was a new scratch on the wall, and it looked like a handprint. I tried to remember what happened, and the only thing that I could think of was the shadowy figure from before. Then I looked down at my arm, and I realized that there was another scratch on my arm that looked identical to the one on the wall. That's when I knew whatever was in that room, it was trying to get out. Of course, I was scared out of my mind, sitting there in the pitch black room hearing these screams. I started to slowly get up out of bed, and then I started to walk towards the door. And as I got closer and closer to the door, the screams, they started getting louder and louder. Then all of a sudden, the lights in the hallway, they turned on, and the door to my room, it slammed shut. Then I started to notice that the lights in my room, they started flickering. And I started screaming for my roommate, but I didn't know if he was even there or not. Then out of nowhere, I felt something grab my ankle and pull me backwards. And when I turned around, I saw this dark, shadowy figure standing there, and it was reaching its hand out towards me. I screamed and I tried to run away, but it was too late. It grabbed me and pulled me towards the closet. At first it was just subtle flicker, but then it got really bright and then really dim. When I woke up, I was lying on the floor and my arm, it was bleeding. I ran to the bathroom and I looked in the mirror and I saw that there was a cut on my arm and it was bleeding everywhere. But that wasn't the only thing that I noticed. And then I noticed that the door to his room, it was slightly open. And as the flickering continued, the door slowly started to open more and more. Then out of nowhere, the door to my room, it completely opened and the lights in my room, they went completely black. I ran to the door and I started knocking on it as hard as I could. The last thing I remember is that I felt something sharp pierce through my arm and then everything went black. When I turned around,